Hi everybody, my name is Bobby. If you haven't seen me, I'm on YouTube as Bobby the Messenger. Um, I want to bring up a story, or actually a few stories, that's to do with something that's happened to me. Well, it's pretty much throughout my whole life, being that I'm a seer, now turned channeler. So as a seer, I could see into other frequencies, other dimensions. I had a lot of visitations. I had UFO sightings, the whole fanatic, as I was growing up. And my mum was also a seer, but she shut it down. And I literally remember a conversation that I had with my father, who was a skeptic. And I'm telling him that, yes, Dad, I see these things. These things are for real to me. They aren't something, it's tangible, or it could be fleeting. It could be something that's etheric, but it could also be tangible as well. Like I could actually feel and touch these things that came up to me, depending on what it was. And my mum was sitting just behind him, and she's always kept it very quiet to herself. And this day she was actually nodding. I used that gift to find out humanity's potential. And so my focus was on two things. What's the true history of humanity, plus the focus on where can we go? Where can we take this? How can we advance ourselves? And that sort of thing. And I was taken to a potential Earth through a dream, but it was one of those really, really vivid dreams. And I woke up in what I knew was our potential, because my mind was so still, like clarity plus. And with that clarity and that understanding that whatever I thought could come into fruition, I could telepathically communicate with people there, teleport, the whole fanatic. So these stories that I'm going to tell you, though, are beyond comprehension, really. And I have brought them up on several occasions in a separate way, but I've just suddenly realized there's something in this that is profoundly connected. So these three stories are on three different occasions, four different beings coming to me one way or another. And in each rite, they were messengers, awakening me or preparing me or something to that extent. So I'm going to tell you each story as they happened. But the reason why I put them all together is because I constantly see 444 everywhere. And I know that other people do too. And these beings kept coming in fours. So that was really interesting. And I went, man, I've had 3 occasions where 4 beings have come to me, and I keep seeing 444 everywhere. So this is obviously something to do with messages coming from these beings. So the first beings that came to me, even though I'm not religious at all, like never been to I've been maybe to a couple of churches, sat in the back and didn't really take much notice of anything. You know how that happens when you go to a baptism or something like that, but that's about it. No religious, not brought up religious or anything. My mum did own a really big Bible. I looked through it. I thought that the Star of Bethlehem was a UFO. I mean, that's as religious as I got. But on this occasion, just a word of warning too, these stories are really, really out there. Like, be prepared for very out there stories. You can't make this up, honestly. I wrote most of them down too, in one way or another. So I was told by my guides to write all of this down as well. So years ago, when these incidences happened, I wrote them down. Okay, let's get into it. The first thing that happened where 4 beings communicated with me was back in the early 2000s, and I was asleep, and then I woke up and I saw it was like an almighty explosion. Like it sounded like an explosion. And I saw my window beside me just explode inwards. And these 4 etheric kind of looking horses with spirits on them is all I could say. I felt they might have been angelic in some form or another, come galloping around my room in front of me. And they were full on big horses. It wasn't like a little thing. This is a big thing. When they galloped around, I sat up. I was already setting up, that's right, because of the explosion. But as I was sitting there, I started to say something. Because I got such a fright, I probably yelled or something. And the girl's dad that I was, married to at the time, sat up, and I knew I had said something, but I couldn't remember what it was. And after they galloped around my room like in a circle, and then they sort of disappeared. And I took a deep breath, and then all of a sudden this song came in my mind, "A band full of angels is coming after me." And so I think that's why I put the angels with the spirits that were on the horses.
Okay, guys, so I just have to put an insert here, because as I was creating this video, I was, putting my talk together with some images, and I come up to this song that was singing in my head, "Band full of angels coming after me." I typed in the words so I could get some sort of, I don't know, lyrics or something to it. And lo and behold, it come up with "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot." So I'm like, that's the name of the song that was in my head. So I put that in, and it just went images. And this is the image that came up. It's an actual painting called "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot" of angels coming to somebody's house. So I just had to throw in this insert. It just gets crazier and crazier. Okay.
And then my partner, who had already got out of bed, jumped on the other side of the bed, he was quite shaken up by me screaming, probably. I said to him, "What did I actually say?" And he said, "You said, 'They're coming soon, not just yet. I've been waiting for this one.'" I can't remember saying that. We had a lot of incidences between us where, he would be asleep and I would ask a question and he would answer as if it was some sort of being coming through and that would answer, and things like that. It was really bizarre. I've had a lot of very, very, very strange things happen to me. Anyway, so that was the first one, and it awoke in me also, energetically aligned me with people that could help awaken me even more after that. And then I met the Cherokee elder, and stuff started to develop. She showed me things that I wasn't was just, my mind was just blown away by, you know, talking to me telepathically, talking about being able to disappear into the forest, go into interdimensional places and all sorts of things. Yeah, so that's another story. But I just letting you know that it kind of awoken me to even more and more and more. I also at the same time had a snake coming over my bed, and it sat up in front of me, and I wasn't afraid of it. I sat up and I saw it turned into like, it sort of disappeared, but it still left this white aura around it. So you could still see the shape of the snake. And then it just turned around and slid back off my bed. It didn't disappear completely. It slithered away. And I had a great awakening around that time. I had a lot of things happening. So that was one incident. Now we're going to fast forward. So I ended up seeing 444 all the way to dropping off my girls to see their dad, because by this stage their dad and I had split up, and we had a meeting place, and I was about, I don't know, 3/4 of an hour drive to meet to see him. And on the way there, I saw like a car beside me or in front of me that had 444 written on the number plate. And then there was a billboard and it had the number 444 as a phone number. And then there was another car that pulled up and they had 444. I think I saw 444 on that trip about 5 times. It just kept on coming like 5 or 6 times, just so many 444s everywhere on the one trip that I took. And I'm like, there's something in this. There's something going on here. This isn't normal to see that number that many times. That night, I fell asleep. I ended up I was awoken. That's right. I was awoken with an orange UFO outside my bedroom window. I'm just trying to get this in order as to how this all happened. So this orange UFO was kind of like a light that was in the shape of a UFO. So if you imagine a light, like an orange ball light, which reminded me of the UFO that was an orange ball that I saw around the same time as the Kaikoura incidents. This is New Zealand, that was hovering outside my bedroom window. I was so frightened. I was only 11 years old when that happened. Anyway, outside my bedroom window was this orange ball of this light, but it had like a disc kind of a shape around the outside, like the light had formed into a UFO shape. And it was just hovering just outside my bedroom window next to the trees. And I remember thinking, this could be a vision because I see things that others can't see, right? And it was around 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning. And I went to sleep, back to sleep. I had somebody's post the next day come over my Facebook page. And they had said, did anyone else see the orange UFO last night? So then I knew, okay, this was grounded. This wasn't just me that was seeing this. This was more than that. And then I looked on my phone and I had sent a message to somebody. So, but you know how when you send a message to someone, if you open up your phone, if you look at your phone, it doesn't like come up with that message again. But this time it had that message that I'd sent to somebody else that afternoon, the afternoon before, and it had come up on my phone again and it said, well, I've arrived. I've arrived. That's right. I've arrived. And then I started thinking about the angels that came in early 2000 that said, we're coming soon, not just yet. I've been waiting for this one. And then I'm like, okay, have they come now? So this is getting really weird, right? Then the very next night, I woke up to 4 huge beings in my bedroom. And I was in a 100-year-old house that had a very tall ceiling, maybe 12 feet tall ceiling. And these beings, there was 4 of them again, but they were cloaked. They had capes over their heads. I didn't see their faces. The hair was wavy curly. And then they actually kind of created some sort of blockage within my mind, because I know that to see these beings, usually I'm in an alpha or theta state of mind, I'm waking up. And I know that if I flick on a light, it takes me back in a beta state, and that means I can't see the frequency anymore. So I knew to flick my light on, because of course these beings are huge and they're standing in my room looking over me. And I mean, who wants, I was a little frightened about this. Even though I've seen a lot of things, I was a little frightened. So instead of flicking on my light, I'm thinking I have to turn on a light. But for some reason, they had sort of blocked out the fact that I even had a light next to my bed, on my drawer, which I flicked on a million times before. So in my head, I had to go through them to flick on the light. And it was almost like I felt like I was being put through a test, a fear test of some sort. And I sat up. I just went, excuse me, and parted their capes and got to the light and flicked it on, and it disappeared, because the bright light, I don't know, I flicked into beta state, I don't know, they're gone. But they kept coming to me after that, and I had these times where I was paralyzed, and like kept waking up paralyzed, like I couldn't move. And I knew that they were taking me, but I didn't know much more than that. And I remember thinking, I asked them, what's going on? I know something's going on, and you need to tell me. And I suppose out of respect, they tell me, right? So they come in my dreams, and I was with a friend of mine, and they appeared, and when they just said hello, it was like this booming, like a really loud, low sounding frequency that was just formidable power behind this hello. And my girlfriend grabbed my arm and was just literally shook by this hello. And they said to me that we put you under so that, because our intensity, our power would frighten you. And so we don't want to frighten you, so we take you so that you're not frightened. And then they put me under. So when I'm trying to wake up, I'm still paralyzed. Okay, so keep up with me here, because this gets really interesting. So the 4 beings came. They started to lead me to all this information. For some reason, I was led to the statues that are on the Egyptian temples and the Anunnaki. So I went to look them up for some reason, and this information started to just come to me from the internet about a prophecy that was made by Yitzhak Caduris. I'm not very good at saying these names. And he prophesied the return of the Messiah. And he had it written in an envelope, and I think that the envelope wasn't supposed to be opened until the death of Ariel Sharon, who was the president that was in a coma since 2006. And I'd had this happen to me during the time that Comet Ison was coming over, and it was around October 2013. And I knew then that the president that was already in a coma for years since 2006 was going to pass away, because I had already had communication that they were returning. Now, their time and our time, okay, that was weird. I don't know why that bubble happened, but anyway, if that was recorded, I've never even seen that before on Zoom. Anyway, thumbs up to that, right? So he prophesied the return of the Messiah. And when the envelope was opened, it had in it the name of the Messiah. And the name was Yeshua. And Yeshua is Jesus. So that's more Christian-based, right? But the reason why that had happened is because he realized that the religions have to break down for us to get a real sense and a bearing of who we truly are from the inside out. That we're no longer seeking for gods outside of us, that we find the gods within us. So I knew that that president was going to die, even though he'd been in a coma since 2006, because I'd had these four beings come. So they were landing, they were showing themselves to certain people, right? And he actually died 11th of January 2014, which is really crazy, because I was actually married on 11th of January to my girl's dad. So that was a definite, like, interesting date that he died for me. Yeah, so when he passed over, then I realized, yes, that's two and two together. He's been in a coma since 2006. My prediction was true that he was going to die soon because of the return of these beings that came to me and started to work with me. And they were the Anunnaki who said that they were sent specifically to align humanity to their outside world, because we wanted to go on this adventure of learning all about the outside logical minds. And so to do that, we had to kind of put a barrier up between us and our soul, or our knowing of our inner world, so that we could discover everything about our outer world. And that's why they came, and then they taught humanity how to read, write, arithmetic, how to farm, that sort of thing. Everything was done practically in an outside way, in an outside manner. And they fulfilled their job. That was their job. But they also know that they are here now to help the letting go of that and the reawakening of the feminine side. And so that they are observers of all of this that's progressing within humanity's environment and consciousness. Also, because Comet Ison was coming over, and that I connected into that, and I have a feeling that that was their spaceship or something like their spaceship or something to do with them. Anyways, I actually drew a automatic writing picture of language and this image. So this was drawn on the 13th of October 2013. So, yeah. And the weird thing is, too, it says more information, dreams and visitations, 2013 to 2015, in the back of this book. 4 angels returning the blue beings. So now we're going to go to the next third being of 4 beings turning up for me. And these are the ones that I work with now. So these are the CYANIANS. So this story actually starts off with a very vivid dream. Actually, it could probably start off with Parisha, the elder that I was working with, because we were watching The Knowing, or an advert of The Knowing. And at the end of The Knowing, there was these etheric beings, and she told us that those etheric beings are what we look like before we were born, and that we are part of that, and that angels and that work for us, because we are high frequency beings close to source energy. And she brought up the 144,000 number as well. I don't know much about that. I'm piecing these things together as well. In any case, I'll tell you the rest of my story. So I had this dream of this UFO landing at the end of the street, and it was just like a street straight down, and then mountains, and then, or hills, and then there's UFO landing, and at the top you could see these etheric beings, just like The Knowing, but very, very, very vivid blue. So, and they didn't have the wings coming off, like in The Knowing, they have this energy coming off, like the angelics, and the but these ones did not. They were just like kind of levitating. And they come up close to me, went to come close to me. They morphed into spirit balls, and they were rainbow spirit balls. And then I got pretty excited in my dream and wanted to take a photograph because it felt so real. I was trying to find my camera in my dream. Anyways, they came back out. I don't even think I had my camera. And one of the spirit balls morphed down beside me, and he lied down beside me. And when he did, he started to talk to me, and they were saying that they're lying down beside me because they didn't want to frighten me. They never wanted to frighten me. And then they started to tell me about the fall of the system and everything in it. And then there would be, they asked me to appoint seers or seekers. And they were the ones that were going to be the unification for all the light workers waking up. So I've had a lot of meditation since then that I've been empowered, and then woke up sparks of people that were ready to wake up, and so forth. And I know that I'm not the only one. So there are others out there that do this work as well. And I think we all come together as this power of who we are. And yes, so they said that there was going to be communication between me and them. And I actually asked if I was to buy a ham radio, and they said, oh, if you want to, but they were kind of, yeah, whatever. In other words, whatever you feel the story, how the story has to go. But they knew that it was going to be channel messages in the end. But at that stage, I wasn't a channeler or anything like that. I was definitely getting messages. I'd been led to, digging up gold bracelets at the beach, and being given a lot of answers, and any questions that I ask, Spirit would tell me what the answers are and that sort of thing. I found a truth stone, and sometimes my ego would get the better of me, and I had to figure it all out about what the truth felt like and what it didn't feel like, and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not 100%, although I am getting a lot more clear and clearer as we go along. And now I do channel. And then I started to realize I'm actually channeling these beautiful beings called the CYANIANS, and they came as 4 as well. So 4 of them came off the spaceship.
Also, another insert, I forgot to mention that it was a few years later when I had split up with a boyfriend. I ended up in a flat with my 2 girls. I opened the sliding door, went out to the balcony, and here was the street that I saw in my dream of, at the end of it, where the 4 beings, blue beings, had landed. And it was this time in this flat that I ended up being awoken to channeling live. So I became the messenger in that flat, which is interesting.
So here we have the angelics bursting through my window, to the Anunnaki that was grounding everything and getting me to face my fears. All messages, messages were coming through with these interactions, like messages where they'll come in my dreams and give me more information and that sort of thing. And then the 4 Cyanian beings. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're all kind of mishmashed together. That's one. I'm not, but definitely these different perceptions or different perspectives or different layers within myself, reflecting outward of my awakening. It's just really interesting that 444 to me means messengers. And here I am, there's 3 4s there, right? 444. And these were beings that came in 4s, and I've only ever had 3 of them that's come to me so far. Anyway, so I just wanted to give you this story. There's so much more to this because this is all to do with unification, bringing something together that we start to realize how that we are source energy going on this journey. And I think that's why everything needs to break down, including religions, governments, everything has to break down for us to be able to look back inside ourselves and find the answers within us rather than seeking them outside. Because when we start finding the answers within us, we become powered up. We become more understanding and enlightened within ourselves, that nothing outside of us is any more disadvantaged or advantaged than who we are. We're just beautiful beings of light residing in an avatar that has a certain program attached to it that we wanted to have an adventure through. And everything, every being, every plant, every animal, everything that is outside of us is part of that story. So I think that they all came to me at specific times, maybe to awaken myself, but also maybe to share this story in this time. There's way more going on here than you will ever find than in a TV or on Google or whatever. That you have an inner core understanding of more when you start to look within yourself as God within you. And you could call it whatever you like. You could call it just light. You could call it the essence. And yeah, there's just so much more happening here than meets the eye. So those were my 3 incredible encounters, and I wanted to put them all together into one story. Boom, boom, boom. Because I wanted to get that feeling that comes with that. So if I start to channel through the messages that they're bringing through now, I really am starting to feel that they are all one. Well, they are in the end, because they are all source energy. Just seeing life through different perspective. And we all do that as well. They want everything to come together again within us. The reason why this is happening now is because of the breaking up of the system and everything in it, everything that we're seeking for God outside of ourselves, it has to be returned to within ourselves, and understanding that we are pure essence. And that is going to bring you so much more peace of mind, that you start to step into this world day by day, being completely present in the moment, no longer allowing the logical mind to dictate anxiety or depression, which is either looking at the past and getting depressed, or anxiety projecting into the future. It's stopping this. These are such powerful messages. And I know that they're similar. Like I say a lot about this, like they bring it up a lot in my channel messages. But it has to be brought up now, because this is actual priority of you individually figuring out who you are as a balanced person, not just as somebody looking outside yourself for victory or for somebody to tell you you're good. To find that essence within you to say that you are a powerful being and you can resonate at any frequency that you start to put your mind to. And that frequency that you put your mind to starts to create the outside world that you start to bring in. So you're literally creating your outside world by coming into collaboration with that frequency. That is God within you, that is source energy within you, the universe within you, the light within you, the essence within you. It is you, is who you are, the core essence. And when you leave this body, this avatar that holds this program, this mind program that keeps us in whatever state of mind it is, when you leave it, you will become part of that essence again, and then have the understanding that you can collaborate and join with somebody, or you can go on another individual journey and become an animal or a being on another planet, or a supreme being, or whatever you decide your story is going to lead you to next. But that's a decision that you make without the program that the logical mind has pulled you into. But while you are here now, knowing that you are running this program, there is a natural program that wants to be re-acknowledged. The natural program goes beyond all of the laws and the outside world dictating to you how you should live and what you should feel and who you should be. The natural program is something that you were born into within your sovereignty of who you are as a child, wanting to explore and have adventure and learn to create step by step your reality on this beautiful planet, in this beautiful body that you have now. And that starts to reflect in more and more beauty, because you start to come back into more and more love of who you are as well. Yeah, so there's just so much more to do with this message. It might be something that awoke in myself, but as they're channeling through me, they're saying that this message goes beyond just, the 444, the beings that came to me to awaken me, to send me message. And they're saying, see, you are now the messenger. You are now the messenger. That's why those messages came to you. Okay, I understand that now. Wow, okay. You are now the messenger. I love that. That's really cool. I have to integrate that for myself. But each and every one of you holds a gift within yourself. I might be a messenger. You might be someone that, can connect to another planet to bring that vibration through. You might be someone who can talk to plants. You might be someone who can connect to Mother Earth, to the elementals. You might be someone who can connect to the rivers, to the water. You might be someone whose soul's journey has gone on a journey of rediscovering your power within yourself. of someone who just wants to be present in this body and just love everything. It could be anything, which is an important journey as it is. There's so much more. You could be igniting gifts. You could be igniting the telepathy, telekinesis, the ability to do these things that step way outside of the system. And that means we don't even need to worry about any of that anymore. But you have to come into a balanced mind within yourself of understanding everything outside of you is already within you. That means nobody can be in power of who you are. The source, level of source energy is it goes way, way, way beyond. So these messages that were igniting me and awakening me to become the messenger, which I did anyway. And now they're saying, can you put it all together as a piece of the puzzle? See, you understand now that the piece of the puzzle of what I went through and these visitations of who actually came to me at the right time and the right moment to awaken me actually created a messenger of myself. There was another girl too that the reason why I called myself the messenger, she was a famous painter. I think her name is Akini, Ceramic, something like that. And she painted this beautiful painting that was called The Messenger. And when I saw that painting, I just went, I have to say I'm a messenger on my YouTube, Bobbie the Messenger. I had to.
In the picture called The Messenger, it's interesting to note that there's an eagle flying high in the sky, and my shamanic animal is a sea eagle. And I found this out by doing a shamanic journey with a lady, and she told me, I saw the eagle flying with the feathers in its wings dropping out to the people and love written on each of the feathers. And she ended up telling me after the shamanic journey that she saw my shamanic animal as an eagle. So that's interesting too. So yeah, just these coincidences that happen is quite interesting.
So as I awaken, being the messenger or a guide, I awaken others. And that's what it's supposed to be. And that's why they came to me in those times. So yeah, I hope that I help awaken you with these messages as well, but it's a beautiful story anyway. It's pretty crazy a story, but beautiful as well. And I have so many of them. Some of them I haven't actually spoken about, and one day I might actually speak about those stories, but not just yet.